Welcome back to Ox Tools. I'm Tom. So what we got here is a insulated, self-filling dog watering station, and doesn't sound like much, right? It was kind of an interesting design project, and you guys might enjoy the thought process that went into some of the details on it. And this is actually the second version. I built a prototype of this that we tested with our dogs. That worked really good, but it had some issues and that I wanted to improve, of course, right? You know, can't leave well enough alone. But anyway, this is the, I'll call it the Mark II version, and it's pretty good, and it's getting ready to go into the dog yard and get tested. And but let's check it out and show you some of the details and the finished product. So why build a dog watering station? That would be the first question. You know, you can use a bucket or a bowl or something like that. Well, the problem that we were trying to solve is we have 4 dogs, and 3 of them are little, you know, like 10 or 13 pound size, and then we have another one that's 45 pounds, full-size cattle dog. And so there's a disparity between their heights and how they deal with water. The cattle dog, he likes to dig out the water and do all that, and then the little dogs, they just want to come up, get a drink, and be done with it. So what happens is, when we use the small bowls, the cattle dog digs the water out of them, and then there's no water left. And then when we put buckets and bowls, he still digs out the bowls and then digs out the bucket, but the little dogs can't drink out of the bucket, so there's another problem. The next problem was, what do you do, right? You chase after this stuff or whatever. And then so what we did is we got one of these poultry watering things that kind of self-fills, and it worked pretty good, but the problem was leaving it out, it attracted snakes into the dog enclosure. So we had a couple of rattlesnakes come in there looking for water, and they were drinking out of this poultry waterer, and which is very low. He can't dig the water out. It was nearly perfect. It was pretty good, and but it was metal, and the water would get hot. So you can see some of the design parameters that we're dealing with here. So this unit, the Mark II unit, kind of addresses most of those features. So let's get in a little closer, and then I'll show you some of the design details. So you can see this unit's pretty low to the ground, so the little dogs can get in here and drink. He can dig out, the big dog can dig out the water, but it will self-replenish, and so there'll always be water as long as the reservoir is full. There'll always be water available to all the dogs. And so the other thing is we have an insulated container, so it's been very hot here, over 105, you know, it was 108, 109 a couple of days, which is pretty. You really need to have cool water available for the dogs, right? So insulated container, and then this enclosure here that the pan sits in is also insulated here too. So, and the pan's easily removable, right? So, so if you fill this up with water, throw some ice cubes in it or whatever, this will stay cool all day long, and this will stay reasonably cool here. And then to address the snake issue, we have a cover here that's reasonably snake proof, so the snakes can't get in here. So those are some of the design details. Now, this was relatively inexpensive, except for a bunch of my very expensive engineering, right? The only like super custom part is this valve body here. I needed to raise this float up a little bit to get the level in the reservoir right, and so it has a valve, and that you can shut this off in the evening or whatever if you want, and then when you want it to self-replenish, you just open the valve there. And then, servicing the thing, when the cattle dog digs the water out, he's got dirty paws and whatnot, so the water gets contaminated. So you need to, ooh, water's coming out, look at that. You need to be able to get the basin out and be able to rinse this out and clean it out pretty easily. So this necessitated having a hinge assembly to this thing too. So now this was, I don't know, 22 bucks at Home Depot. This is an $8 float valve from Amazon. I had to modify it slightly internally, but it was pretty easy. And this is a couple bucks. This came from the restaurant supply store. It was $7 or $9, $9.99, and this is $6.99 for the lid. So those were cheap. So the parts were relatively cheap, but like I said, this would be hard to duplicate. Although maybe you don't need to duplicate that. Maybe you don't need a shut-off valve or whatever, right? Or you can reconfigure this and use a normal valve in that spot. So this is just what I did. And then it has a little hinge assembly back here with a little stopper to stop the container, so the wife doesn't have to hold it and try to fish the reservoir out at the same time. So typical over-engineering. So the other problem that we have is, some people might say, hey, why don't you just get one of those ones that hook up to the hose bib or whatever, and will self-replenish a small basin. We had one of those on the chicken coop. But the issue is that there's no hose bib out in the dog area. So, they're out there all day, and they like to stay busy. So they do things like chew the insulation off of the air conditioning cooling line, and if we leave a hose out there, it gets full of teeth marks and whatnot. So there's some other things that we're trying to keep under control. If I had a hose bib out there, I could put an armored hose to a little basin or something like that, but I don't. So hence the one that can be replenished here. So anyway, I thought you guys might like the project. I've kind of been working on it in the background. It wasn't one of those video-friendly projects, I don't think, so because it took a while for all the pieces to come together and do all that. So, but here it is, it's done, and please comment, questions, whatever. I certainly appreciate you guys watching my videos, and some of my viewers have been around for many, many, many years, actually, over 10 years, so which is blows my mind that people want to watch me yap and talk about silly projects like this. So anyway, I certainly appreciate it. So I don't know. I'm going to go test this and see if that pesky healer will tear this up, or who knows? He might start chewing on this, and all bets are off. I got to go to solid stainless steel or something like that. So it's fun because it's kind of an ongoing battle, a design battle, right? Against a bunch of little furry critters. So anyway, thanks for watching, guys, and I'll catch you next time.